And what I do know is the basic guys out there, they clock in and they clock out, and they leave out all the work on themselves about building, like basically getting the right tools and the right habits that is actually going to put them into being the champion of their own lifestyle, having the better life. They only do the basics and then that's it, and they forget about, or they're just not even aware of the other things that they should be doing, could be doing, to be able to really get them into a space where they are cracking it. Okay, hey, welcome. Let me get comfortable. And this is what it's all about. Being comfortable. Hope you're doing well. Nice to have you watching. Well, nice to have you listening. Whatever you're down with. I hope you are all good. This is the New Generation of Guy podcast. Episode number 2. Woo! Unos, dos. There we go. It is, really cool to be back in the saddle again and keeping it all rolling. Man, I've had so many awesome messages come through from lots of different people recently. And coming through from the first podcast and some of the other posts that have been sharing out recently on social media. So yeah, really cool that you guys are picking up what we're putting down. And hopefully you are connected with me on all the social media stuff. Come and join me on Instagram and all the rest of that. Right. Today's episode is an interesting one that might get you thinking a wee bit for the rest of today. Hopefully thinking in a good way. But here we go. This is it. Guys who are comfortable, they are not living their best life. Okay? Now, being comfortable has it's basically got one of the worst impacts on your reality and your outcomes in your world. If you're accepting the areas of your life that you're not happy with, then you are living a comfortable life, and that is not going to serve you well. You're missing opportunities when you're in that kind of space to grow and develop. That'll help you get to a better life, right? So, yeah, it is really important that if you're comfortable right now, and I know I'm comfortable in my chair right now, but I'm talking about in your world. If you are comfortable right now, it is time to start to challenge yourself. It is time to get uncomfortable and start to step outside of your comfortable zone, because, yeah, it is outside of that area that there is some amazing stuff for you to grab onto, to latch onto, and it'll give you a deeper understanding of what you're capable of. I see that so many times with people that have been stuck in their own little box for a while, and with a little bit of a kick and a push sometimes from someone, or maybe it's just a situation that happens to them, and then they decide that, oh hell, shit, I got to do this. When they get outside of that box that they're living in, man, it's so refreshing to see. It's so awesome to see. Now, if you know me and you know me well, you will know that I am an absolute fanatic when it comes to mixed martial arts. Back when I was 5 years old, I'm really stoked actually that I got encouraged by my brother and my mother to go along and learn karate, and I did that for many years, and it was such an amazing journey to go through. At the start, it was quite awkward. It was very awkward, actually. I think I got beaten up by a couple of chicks in my class over the first kind of year or so. But I learnt some real great discipline there, and learnt some amazing skills and techniques, and met some amazing people as well. The journey of that has then obviously taken me into this place where like I said, I'm a fanatic of combat sports and MMA. I've probably spent realistically, it's probably thousands on watching combat sports. and watching huge fights and things like that. And to be honest, it's not necessarily the thing about seeing someone get their head smacked in that gets me all jazzed up about it. It's more about the actual taking on the challenge, watching fighters go into combat to challenge themselves against another insanely amazing opponent, to see who has got the best skills and who can be the champion of that fight. And I love watching the whole experience of it. And even with MMA, mixed martial arts, is that in the essence, in what it is a combination of different styles of martial arts that are put together. And it's so intriguing to see how the evolution of MMA has where it's gone. So 20 plus years ago, when MMA was really just kind of starting to come alive, is that you would see fighters go into the cage or the ring or whatever you want to call it, and they would only have one specific skill set, essentially, to go in and battle the other guy that pretty much only had one specific skill set as well. Now, kind of fast forward into the era of where we are right now, is that MMA fighters look to basically take on as many skills as they possibly can, components of the martial art forms, to be the complete fighter, to be the best fighter that they can be, to be the champion, essentially the pound for pound best fighter in their weight category or whatever it is. And I think this is really what excites me the most about it, because we are now in this era when I'm watching the sport, looking at these fighters and watching how they evolve. And they have to evolve now, otherwise they don't win. That's essentially how it all works. And fighters now are throwing together all these skills, all these pieces that make them into these special fighters. So things like they have to understand wrestling now. They have to understand grappling, jiu-jitsu, and striking, and they have to put all that stuff together to wrap them up and make sure that they are equipped to take on the challenge ahead of them. And not only that, there are the other components that go in with that whole experience for them. Is that they have to have their nutrition on point, because they have to be at a certain weight to fight in these bouts. They often, so when they have a fight schedule, right, they would normally have a camp for around about 8 weeks to prepare themselves, get themselves into the zone to take on the challenge of the other opponent. And what they do over those 8 weeks is they bring in all these specialists in these different components of mixed martial arts to make sure that their skills are on point, they're up to the level, up to the standard to be able to take on the challenge to beat their opponent. And I think that when we look at that as what it actually is, and they are like these days now, the fighters are amazing. They have evolved into this place where they truly have they're always evolving and working on their skills. And you'll see them in one fight and they'll have good rounded skills. You see them in the next fight and they have just got better. They are constantly working on all those facets of their fighting game to get them to the space to be even better than what they were before. And that is what I like about MMA fighting, watching the evolution of these fighters get better, master these skills so that they can be the best at what they do. There's a good crossover with this kind of stuff and guys, right? And what I do know is the basic guys out there, they clock in and they clock out, and they leave out all the work on themselves about building, basically getting the right tools and the right habits that is actually going to put them into being the champion of their own lifestyle, having the better life. They only do the basics and then that's it, and they forget about, or they're just not even aware of the other things that they should be doing, could be doing, to be able to really get them into a space where they are cracking it. And that is what it's all about. Now, most guys don't understand that there is way more than more important jobs. There's way more important jobs than just your 9 to 5. Now, I'm not saying with that that's not important, because you need to obviously pay bills and things like that. But most basic guys choose to spend their time doing some things that don't really help them build their skill set to be the complete package. They will probably spend more time drinking in the weekend with their mates. They will probably spend most of the weekend watching sports or playing video games or kind of fluffing about and all the rest of that. Yeah, that's that kind of basic guy mode. Now the reality is you should be looking at that as an opportunity. That time that you've got there outside of your 9 to 5 or whatever job you're doing, you should be looking at that time as an opportunity in the areas of your life that you want to build, to start working on those skills that'll help you build the lifestyle that you want. And yeah, you've got to be willing. In this world, you have got to be willing to give something up to level up. That's how I look at things, is that you can't just level up just for the sake of it. You actually have to give something in return to get there. And giving away too much time to the things that don't actually help you level up is definitely one of the ways that you can still be operating at a basic guy level. If you keep on living your comfortable life right now, this is the reality of it, is that you'll still be living that life probably in 5 years' time, and that is not where you want to be. So giving up on things that don't help you is definitely something that you need to be aware of if you want to reach being a new generation of guy. You're going to have to give up those things that sometimes you probably shouldn't be doing. You definitely do want to do it because you just want to have a bit of a release. You want to kind of check out for a little bit. And it goes with saying is that you've always got to have a little bit of time for yourself where you can catch up with your mates and go and have a beer and all the rest of that. That you can go and hang out and watch some sports. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying be smarter and plan things and actually look at putting in some time where you can work on yourself. Now, we all have different areas of our own game that we want to level up, right? And it might be, so what you've got to do is you've got to be aware of what those levels of your game that you want to level up in, and set aside some time that you can start to figure out and invest in the skills or the training from people that is going to help you get better at it, so that when you can challenge yourself, or when you're challenging yourself to have the best lifestyle that you want, you're going to be drilled up, you're going to be ready to take it on like no one's business. So sacrificing those things that are not going to help get you there, that is the ultimate power play for you right now. And if you want to start building a better life, you've got to start doing that kind of stuff right now. And whether it's finding an opportunity in a day, in the weeks, wherever it is you've got to start looking for those opportunities where you can set yourself some time aside so that you can actually start to look to improve those situations in your world that's going to enhance your lifestyle. And I'm not saying it's going to be a quick and easy fix, but like an MMA fighter, they put in the time, they put in the training rounds, they do all the work of grappling, all the hours and all that kind of stuff. They put in all those hours so that when they step into that octagon to take on, or that cage to challenge that opponent, that they are in the best possible place to overcome that and to win the bout, to be the best. So it is exactly the same as it is in our guys' lives, right? So if you're sitting there or listening and thinking, I want to have a better relationship with my partner, with my wife. I want to get out of the apprenticeship and be the manager. I want to have the finances so that I can invest into things that I'm truly passionate about and make my money work for me. You have to put in the hours to develop those skills. You have to put in the hours to develop the right type of mindset that is going to get you there. Like a fighter, and You'll see a lot of fighters, they are confident in their abilities, and they have to tell themselves, some of them internally, no doubt, are nervous, are scared about jumping into these rings and octagons of fighting. But they condition their mind based on the work that they have put in, knowing that they are ready to take on that massive fight, that massive challenge to overcome their opponent. And really, at the end of the day, it's them overcoming themselves. They're challenging themselves. And that's why they put in so much time, so much energy, and they have so much support around them to actually get them into that space so that they believe. And it is such an important thing, even in our day-to-day life, that we act and roll the same way as like an MMA fighter. But don't go out and start punching people. We don't want that. So right now, it's your time to start stepping up and stepping out of that basic way of living. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in the same spot you are right now 5 years from now. And that is a horrible result. Because if you're living comfortably, you need to make some serious changes right now. And you don't want to be in the same spot you are right now in a few years' time. So the reality of the situation is you need to start putting in some work into yourself and start building the areas that you're probably aware of that you need to build to create a better one for your life. So start checking in, start giving yourself some time to work on yourself, whatever that may be. If you need help trying to figure out what some of those components are, then you'll find a link somewhere to the New Generation of Guy group that has been created. Very soon in that group, I'm going to be sharing with the guys that are in there, like-minded guys that are in there, the things to help you understand what the areas are that you need to grow. You probably will know, because it's normally the things that you don't like about your life. That is pretty much how it all works. But if you're unaware of that, we're going to have a workshop where we can actually kind of unpick that stuff for you. And it is always different for every guy. There are components that overlap, but our lives, where we are right now in our lives, it can be quite different. The things that are important to us might be at different stages. So it is super important to figure that out, figure out what the things are that you need to level up in, to be the champion in those areas, so you can be the champion of your own life. Once you have got that cracked, then you can move on to, how do I get the right type of skills so I am ready to take on all those challenges to be the best at that particular component of my life. So if that sounds like you, come and join the New Generation of Guy group. In there, we're going to be having a workshop very soon where you will be able to uncover that stuff, which is number one, what you got to do. And then number two, it's figuring out what skills that you'll need to acquire and work on to get you into a new mode, and then we can start working from there. All right, that is us for episode number 2. Make sure you follow us on all the socials. Send us any messages if you need help with anything as well. It's nice having messages come through from all of you. Make sure you reach out. Don't sit on the bloody fence. The time is now to start moving towards a better life. Get out there and get amongst it, and we'll see you soon on the next one.